And good afternoon or good evening, folks, depending on where you are. Hey, this is Art Shed. It's time for the show. Let's be reasonable. Right, folks. We're being reasonable in the face of chaos, right? Because chaos abounds, so it's everywhere. But hey, folks, we're here to talk about Trump v. Harris polling. This is a article by Forbes. This came out yesterday around noon, and it's talking about Harris up by 4 in the latest survey. So let's just dive right into it and just get the key top line things out of the way, and then let's talk about it on the other side, right? So let's go ahead. So top line is she's up 4. Some of the key takeaways or key facts says Harris leads 50% to 46% with 5% of voters undecided in an Emerson poll, Emerson College poll of 1,000 likely voters. Remember, there's a difference between likely voters and registered voters. Likely voters are more reliable than registered voters. Why do I say that? Got a lot of people registered, but doesn't mean that they're going to show up at the ballot, right? So anyway, so that's likely voters. Small sample, but it says something, right? So 50 to 46% with 5% undecided. Just one poll, and that's the Fox News poll that was released on Thursday, found Trump leading 50 to 49. So up 1% in a very, very tight race. Some 48% of registered voters polled by the Mammoth University survey released on Wednesday said that they would definitely or probably vote for Harris, where you had 43% that said they would definitely or probably vote for Trump. These are registered voters. Okay, so something to think about. The Economist and the YouGov poll was released, was dated August the 11th through the 13th. Also found that 46% of registered voters would cast their ballot for Harris, while 44% would cast their ballot for Trump in a five-way race with a three-party candidate or with third-party candidates on the ballot. So again, huge. The vice president leads Trump 47-44 in the morning consult. Latest poll released on Monday with 4% of registered voters surveying selecting someone else. 4%. It's been this is the fourth week in a row with the morning consult that the polling average has favored Harris over Trump. So something to look at. Harris leads in at least 3 other surveys taken this month. The Reuters Ipsos poll, the Thursday found that Harris leads 42 to 37%. The NPR PBS poll, Marist poll, released on Tuesday, showed that she was polling 48% to 45%, leading Trump. Trump leads Harris in at least 8 other polls since President Joe Biden left the race, but most show Harris denting Trump's lead. In other words, she's shrinking that lead that he had over Biden, and that's what I kind of expected. In fact, at this point, I'm going to play what I told you would be the case before the convention and after the convention a couple weeks ago, or that's just like 3 weeks ago when it was breaking news. So I'm gonna play that right now, and then we'll talk about this some more on the other side. But I'm here to tell you, after you hear the speech from Joe Biden endorsing Kamala Harris, after you hear Gretchen Whitmer prosecute the case for the Democratic Party, after you hear Kamala Harris tell you about the vision on how we move forward, I'm here to tell you. You ready for it? +5 coming out of the convention with escape velocity. I'm here to tell you, with escape velocity, that means look, the race is going to be tight. Okay, it's going to still come down to really. Okay, there you have it. Like I said, and here's where we are. Here's where we are. Let me go ahead and pull up. This is from Real Clear Polling, and Real Clear Polling. This is a clearinghouse, you might say, of all the polls that are out there. As I told you, we're pretty much right on target when it comes to this particular race and how we call it. We're pretty much even going into the convention. With Harris really having, when you look at the comparative polls out there, she's got a 1 point bump on top of the president going into the convention. These guys are about to have one of the most electrifying conventions. Okay, full of energy, a lot of buzz. It's not going to be like the Trump Republican convention where you got nitwits running around with patches on their ear, listening to Kid. They weren't even They weren't even listening to Kid Rock. If you look at the audience, you have people sitting around talking and carrying on. You have a bunch of other some people over there can't find the beat to save their life, right? And but no, this the Democrat convention is going to be a well-oiled machine, and I'd still say that the race after that convention, they're going to get a 5 to probably 7 point bump after the convention because the energy is going to be high. Okay. And because of that, like I said, I think that we get into escape velocity. Now, I said this before, I do not think that this is Obama type energy. And some people would say, well, Art, why would you say that? I'm just telling you, I was there on the ground 2008, kind of watching all that develop. And when you look at places like Ohio and you look at Florida and you look at all of those battleground states of that particular time, I mean, Obama was actually leading in those contests. Okay. Coming into the month of really going into the month of October. Now, Art, you're saying to yourself, well, we're not even that close yet. You're right. But it still doesn't look like that energy. However, I still say to you, it's not a Biden energy. Okay, it's eclipsed the Biden energy. This is definitely on some moment. It's definitely has some momentum behind it, but it just haven't caught the Obama energy as of yet. Will it do it? I don't know, but I will say this: if you get a 5 to 7 point bump coming out of the convention, I'm here to tell you, North Carolina is definitely in play. In fact, if you look at the latest poll out of Florida, wish I could find it. Let me see if I can find it. Latest poll, here it is. Latest poll out of Florida, which is the Florida Atlantic University poll. It's showing Trump 50, Harris 47. So we're +3 Trump, where before the race flipped, it was Trump +10. Okay, so there's been a lot of activity. He got out of the race on the 20th of July. So it was +10. Now it's +3. If the race in Florida is within the margin of error and you're showing Democrats drawing even, if the next polling set that comes out shows +1, even, Harris +1, you know what? I'm here to tell you Florida, Ohio, and those old uh, you would say you would say Democrat banner states are back in play. If that's the case, folks, I'm here to tell you, you get yourself North Carolina, you get Florida, you get Ohio. I'm telling you, wrap this up because at that point you're going to get Pennsylvania, you're going to get Michigan, you're going to get the state of Wisconsin, you're going to get Arizona. It looks to me you're going to get looks like Nevada may be close, but I think that the energy you'll get Nevada and you get California. So at the end of the day, you probably have an electoral count of somewhere around wow. Probably about 340, 345 electoral votes. And remember, you only need 270. So the race is shifting. It's definitely shifting. And as I said from the beginning, when I started doing this back during the month of October last year, I look for those ebbs and flows, the change in momentum, and the rest. We definitely got it. This race has had just about everything from, Trump and all his crazy talk. right? I mean, just absolutely. Look, because he's not a disciplined candidate, it's hers to lose. But I'm here to tell you, the American people aren't going to make the same mistake that they made in 2016. It just won't. It's not going to happen. So, that being said, folks, I'm just here to tell you, just stay tuned. Stay tuned because I think that this, if you happen to be an independent like myself, or if you happen to be a Democrat, you're probably sleeping a little bit better now. You probably are. Now, she also did her meeting on the economics today. I can't remember where. I think she was in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, um, and it was they had some. She had some really good points in there. Um, I still don't see enough meat on the bone when it comes to the policies, but I get the overall tone. The overall tone is not to really break so much from what we refer to as Bidenomics. And when you think about Bidenomics, it's really about building out the middle class. If you build a robust middle class, you'll grow the jobs in that particular area. It will have a ripple effect that will definitely will help the American worker, help the American people. It's different than the supply side economics top down. What George Bush, Herbert Walker Bush, rightfully referred to as voodoo economics. It is. It truly is because there's none of that that ever came to fruition. And Republicans, in most cases, in the supply side argument, were and have been their own worst enemy because they had the audacity in most cases to cut the taxes, right? But they never could bring themselves to cutting spending. So they end up ruining their own message. They blunt their own economic message. Okay. And I'm here to tell you, look, when you have, I'm going back to 1980. If you have 15 brackets, tax brackets, and at the highest bracket, the marginal tax rate was 70%. You go down to what we have now, I just think is like 3 or 4 brackets, right? 5 brackets maybe, right? With the highest tax bracket being like 38%. I'm just asking. I just want you to think about this. If you go from the top marginal bracket being 70% down to 37%, I mean, you've cut a lot in the way of taxes, right? I mean, you've cut a ton of taxes. And then ask yourself this question. If we cut that much in taxes, why are we in such a bad state when it comes to the economy? I mean, it's something to just ponder and think about because it just doesn't make any sense. All right. But it doesn't make sense because you couldn't cut spending for starters. I mean, Republicans weren't going to cut that, which is strange, right? Um, but I'm not here to help them. I'm just here to tell you that it's really strange. Anyway, folks, look. So the polling is tight. The convention for the Democrats is next week. Stay tuned. I really think that it really starts to get interesting from this point. And remember, we're right up against the Labor Day holiday. It's after Labor Day where the American people start to focus their attention on this election. And I believe it's at that point. If Democrats can prosecute a salient message that resonates from the top down, or really from the bottom up, right? If it resonates, I mean, the only thing left for Republicans to do is claim that Democrats stole the election. That's it. That'd be the only thing that they could do. But I think the outcome of that will look a little different when you think about January 6th of 2025 or whenever that date is that the swearing in of the new Congress. Let me see what that date will be. Let me just get a date. Get a date. Give me a date. Hey, let me go forward. Be January. think it's January 7th. Yeah, it'll be January 7th. So if you think about it, it it's going to be a different day. And I believe that at the end of it, you end up with Harris running the country. Um, it's quite conceivable that you can get 4+ years out of Harris. Could be four, could be eight. I mean, but she may decide only to do one term and turn it over to Gretchen Whitmer. So, or to Walz. I mean, but hey, and I can't say anything bad about Walz. Can't say anything bad about it. I mean, JD Vance, when it comes to his popularity, you can tell he's got. Um, I haven't seen it yet, but I would imagine his favorabilities or his unpopularity has got to be rivaling somebody like Sarah Palin, 2008. I mean, it's got to be at that level. so so you know, we'll see how it all turns out. But anyway, folks, the convention next week. I want you to have a great weekend. Like and subscribe. Give me your comments. Right, comments are definitely important. Would like to see what your thoughts are on this particular topic because, man, I mean, this race is really starting to get serious. But it's also that point where the American people start paying attention. So anyway, folks, enjoy your weekend. Like and subscribe. We'll see you the next time around.